I'm stuck with StreamYard for now. All right. Hey, welcome to the Really Charlie podcast. Today is a local author. Today's guest is a local author. And I'm so happy to have her on this show, this podcast, because we got to support each other, especially when it's local. But she has a great book. She has a great book, great title. I laughed when I heard it, and so without further ado, my new friend, Lisa Delana Borges, author of
Hey,
Life in the...
Charlie.
Hi, how you doing? The book title is...
Good. How are you?
All right. Life in the Fat Lane. That's funny. That is funny. How did you come up
Isn't
with
that
that
a
or
great
something?
title?
Yeah.
Actually, I can't take the credit. My cousin, it came out of my cousin's mouth. We were talking one day and said, I'm going to write a book because this is just crazy what we do, what we live. Life in the Fat Lane. And I loved it because I'm such a music girl. And it's a takeoff on Life in the Lane. And I was like, that is just perfect. So yeah, that title came up about 10 years ago or not. And this book's been a long time in the making.
Good. It it's like the book cover is fascinating. I don't know if I could. I don't know if everybody could see it. I'm gonna try to put it further back so the light won't glare on it. But Life in the Fat Lane, I love it. Got a woman,
I can
jogging
tell you a little bit about the cover, what
Go
came.
ahead.
So the cover, I wanted to get across to people that I'm a busy lady and I have kids and work and you gotta pay your bills and you just gotta get everything and you're trying to get fit and you're trying to exercise. The lady's thinking about eating. What am I going to eat next? I'm going to eat pizza and I'm going to eat cupcakes. So it's just I get across to the person who did the cover. Like that's like I mean, perfect. I can't even give him enough credit. I mean, he took my thoughts and put it together.
It's awesome. To do, it says, to do, pick up Lauren, groceries, pick up Matthew. Looks like it says check emails, water bill, cable bill, electric bill, laundry basket, calendar, all X'd out, and all those snacks up top, the cupcakes, donuts, cake, unbelievable. And then even the city life in the back, background, just showing the stress of being in the city or just being in the work environment. That's what I get all from this. Oh no.
Exactly.
So looks like you cut out, Lisa. I'm sorry. Um, are you hearing me well? Is there a big delay in my
So yeah, so
question?
he got it all right because that's the live. All live that life. Yeah, we gotta.
You know what? See if you can.
It's just a little delay. I can hear you good.
Okay, all right. If it gets worse, then what we'll do is you can just...
Yeah, there's a delay.
Lisa, why don't you try logging off and then log back on again? See if that works. All right, everyone. While she's trying to log back on, I mean, this book is fascinating. It's a very thick book. Great stories, and anyone kind of dealing with the issue of weight and a weight gain is definitely, it's got everything in it. it's got so much different, scenarios in there. Social loner, revenge, and it just goes back. It's just everything old is new again. So it just relates to someone going through their experiences of weight gain and trying to lose. You lose it, you gain it back, so on and so forth. So let's try to get Lisa back on here. It's not a podcast without this great guest. All right. How about now? Dear Lisa, can you hear me?
Can you hear me?
Okay. Yeah. All right. Now I can. Okay. So, what inspired you to get this book done? I mean, what actually started? Was it a person? Was it an experience? I mean, obviously it's an experience, but what just finally said, "Hey, I'm going to do it"?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
No. I think we're good.
All right. Lisa, what inspired you to get this book going? Was it I mean, obviously, go ahead.
I think we still got a delay,
Yeah.
Charlie.
All right. Let me, this bothers me.
I think we still got a delay, Charlie.
All right. Let me try something here. 1 second.
I have a great about that. So I like to read a lot of biographies. I have great about that. So I like to read a lot of biographies. And autobiography.
Lisa, you still there? Bear with us, everyone. We've been trying to. We were good off air, offline, and now we get this delay. So trying to work through this. Lisa, you there? Hold on.
I'm here.
All right, I'm going to try something. I'm going to try to go on from my iPad. I don't think it's on my end, but are you on a laptop? For now, Lisa. Lisa, can you hear me? Lisa, can you hear me? How you doing? Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Much better.
Oh, you know what I did? I tried it from the phone.
Okay. All
So
right,
let's
we're
see if
gonna.
that works.
It's much better.
All right. Yeah, I think so too.
All right, we're gonna start over with this.
All
All
right.
right.
Sounds good.
Even though it's 12 minutes in, and guess what? That's 12 more minutes with you.
Oh, nice.
So, hey everyone, this is the Really Charlie podcast. My name is Charlie Perry, and we're gonna start this over. This great guest has an awesome book. The title of it is Life in the Fat Lane. And her name is Lisa Delana Borges. And I got to say that middle name because, that could be your divorce name, that could be somebody's name. So I got to make sure I say it. So what's going on, my new friend? How you doing?
Hey, I'm great. I'm so happy to be here. Thanks for having me.
Awesome, awesome. The Thanks to Big Mike Herron. I taught him everything he knows on the basketball court. He doesn't admit it, but you know, I was the one black friend he had growing up in high school. Only joking, only joking. That dude is diverse. He's definitely got I love everything about what you guys are doing up there in Far River with that podcast. I actually rode by today, um, dropping off someone. So uh, you guys are doing great things. But
Awesome. Thank you.
we're gonna talk about your book, the fascinating cover. I don't know if I could show it now. Look, it comes out a whole lot clearer.
Yes, that looks good. I
Yeah,
love that cover. They did a great job. They took my thoughts and they got everything I was thinking on that cover.
excellent. I mean, look at that. It's so thick. And as it doesn't have that bend to it because I only read a few pages, but I definitely like all the titles, everything in it. It just I can relate to some of the things in there, and I was just amazed that kind of reading my mind, especially with some of the things we go through during on a daily basis. I would lose weight, put it back on. Lose weight, put it back on.
Exactly. And so many of us go through that. And I was like, you know what? I think these things, I feel these things. I'm not alone. I know there's other people out there. So I just wanted to tell my story.
So true. And you know, Sherry Barrow says, "I know what you mean, the yo-yo weight gain, I say. LOL. Yeah, it's true. Up and down, up and down. It's just crazy.
It is crazy. It's crazy. And we all go through it because we all go through life, and we eat because we're depressed. We eat because we're happy. We eat because we're sad. We eat because we got fired. We eat because we got a new job. We eat because we're going to a wedding. And I write a little bit in there about how it's an addiction, and people who do drugs, who drink, they have an opportunity to get their lives together and to beat it once and for all. We can't, because we have to eat to live. It's
Hmm.
always there. So we have to learn how to have a relationship with food.
So true. So true. My I mean, you talk about it, everything, all the carbohydrates. I love rice, bread. It just goes on and on. I just can't get away from it.
Yeah, it
And
becomes our friend. It's
yes.
there for us all the time. Now, you were asking me earlier, like how I came to write this book, and it's really funny because I love to read. I love autobiographies. I love biographies. I love it. And one day I was reading a book that Tori Spelling had written, from 90210.
Hmm.
Um, and she was talking about how she moved into a normal neighborhood and she wanted to be a normal girl next door and just be friends with her neighbors. And I said, wait a minute. I am a normal girl next door and I have stories to tell. And you don't have to be a celebrity to write a book. I said, I'm writing a book. And that's how I
Hmm.
wrote it. And I just felt like I could help people because everything that I think, everything I wrote in that book, I know other people have gone through. Like there's a story in there about how I went into a store, jewelry store at the mall, and I was prepared to drop some money. I was buying Christmas gifts. And the woman in the store didn't give me the time of day. But behind me, this really gorgeous, skinny girl walked in and she was like, oh, can I help you?
Hmm.
Charlie, I walked out of that store. I've never been back.
Yep. Good.
You don't
Good.
know how much money somebody has based on how they look.
Hmm.
So, yeah. And I know other people have gone through it too. I write things about going out to eat, how the hostess will just seat you at a booth. Have you sat in some of those booths? Some of those booths, I'm like, can I have a table, please? This is like, I can't
Hmm.
fit. It gets embarrassing and it's awful. And I just knew I wasn't alone, so I wanted to write my story.
And it's a great story. One thing, I mentioned that I wrote some books too. Excuse me. The best thing about your book is that it's going to be in a shelf in your house. It's going to be, pretty much a lot of your family members bought the book.
Yep.
So it's going to always be there. It's going to
Right.
be that family icon. So later on, that, you know, the generations to come can look at it and say, hey, our family wrote this book, so on and so forth. And that's the one thing that you just leave something behind
That was
other than,
important to me too. That's that I felt that. I was like, I'm leaving a legacy for my kid. I have something, there's musicians out there, they have their music that is out there forever. And, the actors, they leave their legacy through movies and TV. And I'm like, what can I do? Where is my talent? And I was like, I want to write. It took me a long time to decide I wanted to write.
and you know what, I know that feeling because it took me a while.
Yep.
And I tell this story all the time. A teacher inspired me, then another teacher discouraged me, and then a third teacher inspired me again. But there was a gap. There was like a 10
Right.
year gap for me to get away. I mean, get back to writing again.
Yep.
And discouraging is. I mean, I think that does more harm than someone encouraging you. I mean,
It
it
really
just
does. It really, I
and
call those people dream crushers.
so true, so true. And now that I look back at it, I don't have this opportunity to show the books that I wrote to that teacher
Right.
because they're no longer around.
Right.
But I wish,
Ye
I wish I
yes,
could have.
and I know that feeling because, again, story in the book, there was, a job that I worked part-time, and I had lost a little bit of weight on my own, and I was feeling good, and I had bought a brand new outfit, and I took a vacation day to go to my part-time job, to do some training. And I walked in and all my coworkers were like, "Oh, you look so cute. You look so cute." So, my ego was good. I'm like, "Oh, this is good. I'm feeling good." At the end of the day, the owner of the company brought me into the office and said that I was dressed inappropriately. And I
Wow.
was so crushed. And you know what? I had my chance to write that in the book, but I got an even better chance recently. She called my job that I'm now full time at, and she's like, "Oh, how are you?" I said, "I'm fantastic." I said, "I wrote a book and I've lost 120 pounds." That was so satisfying to tell her that.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
It's
After
so
she
it
totally crushed me that day.
good, good.
So I
And
know, I know what you're talking about.
yeah, you gotta. I don't know. It's sometimes it's not nice to pay back, but I don't. I'm not looking for the payback, but
Right. But a little
I call it karma.
satisfaction, because
Yeah,
you're
little
accomplished now. You did what you wanted to do.
yeah, little, little karma.
Yep,
Helps out, and
exactly.
it's good. So, what do you have some other intentions as far as
I
another book?
I have a few in the works. I have a sequel to this book because, as you know, a reader, you will read through the book and find that in the end, I decided to have weight loss surgery. And that's been very successful for me. So the sequel is going to talk about how I came to that decision and the process. And through it, I've actually inspired about two or three people to go forward and have their own weight loss surgery. So I feel good about that. And I've got some children's books in the works. So I'm
Good, awesome.
excited about that.
We everyone everyone has an opportunity or a chance to inspire someone. So your books are definitely gonna inspire people, like you just said. And I try to tell people continue to be creative. You
Yep,
never know who's watching you. Never
exactly.
know who you're in. And then
Exactly.
if someone needs a head start with a book, offer it to them.
Yep,
And
absolutely. It's so important to
I didn't think
support
it was
each other.
yeah. I didn't think it was difficult. I just thought that it was time consuming.
It
But
is time
the way I
consuming.
got away, yeah, the way I got away from it was away from thinking about it is I just wrote something every day,
Yep,
whether it was a paragraph, two paragraphs, maybe a whole chapter, but I did something every single day, and then within about 6 months, I was saying, "Oh wow, this is coming together. I don't
yep,
have too much more," and that was one of the biographies that I did. But with the poetry, with me, that's easy. That I can give me 3 weeks, I can have a book ready.
right.
Um, yeah, so um, and I say 3 weeks because I'm a procrastinator. So
I do.
I say,
too. The hard I found was the editing. I would start from the beginning and read my book and be like changing everything. And then I put it down, and a week later I'd pick it up and I'd start from the beginning and I start changing everything. And I said, "This is crazy. I'm never going to finish if I keep doing this." So it gets, and
hmm
it becomes your baby. It's like
yes,
you don't want anybody else to touch it, and it's, yeah, it's crazy. You can get really crazy about it.
so true. I have there's the book I wrote on a New Bedford boxer, Andre McCoy, um, and I have a copy for you. I'll send to you.
Awesome.
Um, the this and I read that book. I think I read it 4 times already. So every time I read it, I see something. I'm like, oh, I
Yes.
should have edited it, and I want to, but then again, I forget sometimes that exactly the way I kind of quoted someone
Yep.
is exactly how they said it.
Right.
And I didn't want to change that. I wanted to actually be, that. I mean, how could you write a how can you write a book about like South Boston without that South Boston
Right.
accent?
Exactly.
So I didn't want to throw, I didn't want to leave that. So when it came to this New Bedford boxer, I didn't want to leave any of that, um, you know, the grammar. I didn't want to change it at all,
Right.
because if you change one word, you're going to change a bunch of them. So
Exactly.
now it doesn't look genuine.
Right.
So,
Well, the biggest compliment
um,
I've gotten from people who've read my book is they would say to me, I feel like you're sitting in my backyard having a conversation with me. And that meant so much to me.
mhm.
That's what I was going for. Because I was nervous because I can be a funny girl, but I've got a very strange sense of humor, the things that come out of my mouth. And I was like, are people gonna take my humor? Are they going to get it? Are they going to be insulted? So I was a little worried about that, but it seemed to come across well.
And I'm glad you didn't change. I'm glad you maintain, that organic way of writing it. You have to stay that way because it really, you want to write the book for the audience. You want to write the book for the reader. But but you're also writing it for yourself. It's
Yeah,
part of your mental,
exactly.
So you have to kind of, you really, really have to do that. And I'm glad you did.
Thank you.
So, I know your buddy in Fall River. He said, "Can you hear me?"
Yep, I can hear you. I lost you for a second.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Can you got me?
Yeah.
Okay,
I'm
good.
sorry.
It's okay.
Just my day.
Yeah, it's technology. What are you gonna do?
So, all right. So the big guy in Fall River wants someone to ghostwrite his book. So
Yes.
you gonna do it?
I would like to. I hope to. It's got to find the time. That's the biggest problem. Because you know what? As a writer, you got to write when it hits you,
Mm-hmm.
and you're busy, you got life, you're working, and it's like you got to find that inspiration.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the biggest problem I have with any book.
Okay. One thing that helped me was recording it. When I recorded the other people involved in the book, so I could, and then I could come back to it when I was full of energy,
That's
especially,
good.
yeah, especially like nights where, all right, you go to bed at 11 and all of a sudden you're waking up at 1:30, 2 o'clock thinking you slept through the whole night. And, so days and nights like that, I could go ahead and get the audio out and just start typing.
Yeah, that's a great idea. It's a great idea. I always have a pen and paper with me. And if I don't have a pen and paper, I've got my notes on my phone. I am always taking notes.
Good.
And I mean, they're there. So then I go back and I start putting everything together. And as a writer, everybody's kind of got their own style.
True. True. This is I think my next project is going to be one of my mentors, but I gotta wait um, and see if it's okay, and then think I'm just gonna go ahead and start writing it because he's been so inspirational to me since a young age and throughout my adult life. So I think I'm gonna go ahead and do it.
Do you
And
belong to any writers clubs or anything like that?
no, only because I don't commit to them, so I
Yeah,
don't join them. If anything, I think the easiest thing for me to do is to latch on something with through Facebook,
right.
and then that will keep me involved in it. But if
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah. Yeah.
we I mean we even did locally, we had this we were critiquing poetry and stuff like that. So that was kind of the closest thing that I did where we were meeting on a weekly basis.
Right.
But I don't know. I uh, I think that writing is so important.
It is.
Um,
And
and
I think the more you read, the more you write.
yeah, yeah. And I mean, I'm trying to get back to my old reading habits because everything I've been doing is through Audible, and it's good for me because I'm driving when I'm working. I'm driving, just
Right.
on pleasure. So it's easier for me to kind of listen to it because it's mainly highway miles. So I'm kind of going at a steady pace, but I can listen to it. Because my ride's usually about an hour and a half.
Right.
So
But there really
um,
is something to be said for holding that book and turning that page.
mhm. Yeah, yeah. It's I found so many. I mean, you and I talked about just looking at books and just grabbing them and just kind
Yeah.
of it. You always get another idea. You get an idea from
Exactly.
someone else, and it's amazing.
Yep.
Um, like some of the old poetry books. Sometimes I grab them, and what I find because it is so old, there's words that we don't normally use. So
Yeah.
I end up grabbing. I said, all right, get to find the definition of it, and say, oh, I can use this, and
And that's true, Charlie. In so many books, if you go back 50, 60, 100 years, the writing styles were different. The language was different. It's very fascinating.
yeah, sure is, sure is. The with your book, did you have a book signing?
I did not have a book signing because of the pandemic. I
Okay,
had a huge party book planned for 100 people. It was going to be awesome. And then we got hit with the pandemic. So I plan to make up for that with the next book release.
all right. So this is my suggestion. Okay, take it from me. You're gonna you're gonna you're gonna be good and you're gonna be evil. So when you do the book signing, I want you to put cupcakes all over the place.
Yes, I love it.
so they're gonna be, they're gonna find you're not gonna have any cupcakes, and and hopefully no books.
I love it. That's a great idea.
Yeah,
I love
it's
it.
yeah, I did good on my very first book signing. A lot of family and friend support,
Yep.
and very surprised with the number that I left with, and I was like, wow, this can, and it helped me out.
Yeah.
Paid
Now,
a few bills.
now that the pandemic's over, there's some events that are starting to happen, and I do belong to the Rhode Island Authors Association. So there's things that I'm going to be able to start going to. So we'll get out there. We'll do some signings and work on the next book and have a big release party. And you better be there.
Of course I would. I'll be there. I'm actually, I mean, I have a book, but I'm going to buy a couple of them and kind
Awesome.
of give them out as gifts. And I'll bring this one so you can sign it.
Awesome.
Yeah, just, I mean, you could do it. It is one of my past guests, Ayana Parent. I like what she does. She goes out and she's in the Cape, does her little yoga, and then she has a book signing. So teaches classes, does it,
Yeah.
she, yeah. So, and I mean, there's so many things you could do.
Yep.
Uh,
Yep.
so, well, Lisa, I want to really, really um, I appreciate this time. I really, I'm going to do a lot of things, especially now that I have the book and material. I'm going to be sharing it on a Really Charlie podcast group on Facebook.
Thank you.
Everything that, that's related to it. And when you do your other events coming up, I'm going to constantly share it.
I appreciate
I'm not,
that. I can't wait to check out your books too.
yeah, it's, you'll have it this week, even if, even if I don't mail it to you, if I leave it at the studio, you'll get it, right?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, so I'll probably do that.
Okay, great.
And I know it's going to happen. I'm going to bring one book for you, and the big guy's going to say, "Where's mine?" So
Yeah, yeah.
I better bring two.
Better too. Well, thank you for having me, and I hope to be back as I keep releasing books.
And you come back anytime. Yeah, I don't care what it is. You might have a subject that you
Thank
might
you.
want to talk about.
Absolutely.
You know, maybe talk about a pay raise at your podcast. Getting the pay raise, and you want to kind
Listen, I always got a subject, so if you need a guest, you
of.
call me. I always got something to say.
All right, I promise you that. If in fact, I leave this open to you. If I do the beauty salon segment
Yep.
where women come on and they just kind of talk as if they were in a beauty salon.
I'd love that.
It could be any subject matter whatsoever.
Sounds good.
And you just so feel free. If I don't know who you chop it up with, but it's easier when you know a few of them, and
Yep.
then you get ladies can come on here and we'll just do. And in about 2 weeks, I'll get in touch with you.
All right. Sounds great, Charlie.
I'll give you. All right. Well,
all right. Thank you so much.
I'm gonna finish. All right. Thank you, and have a great night.
You too. Bye-bye.
Bye bye. Oh, Lisa, wait 1 second. Don't go.
Yep. Oh.
Hey, you still, I can still hear you. I meant to ask her, Lisa, if you're still there, just try to log back on. I got one question that I didn't ask you. And who would you like to have on a Really Charlie podcast? But I'll text her and find out who she wants on it. Hey, Denise, how you doing? Nice to see you. Joshua, I see you on the screen, brother. Everyone, don't forget about Iron Warriors Fitness. Joshua Davis, doing his thing. I'm going to actually put up a little website here. All this gear that I have on is from my friends. And he's doing his thing, He's somebody to work out with. Definitely reach out to this guy. And so merchandise from Iron Warriors Fitness. Iron Warriors Fitness.net. NET. Check out that website. A lot of good gear, like this hat, this shirt, this Warrior. Definitely good thing. No excuses. Heavy lifting, so on and so forth. A lot of things. So check out the website on the bottom screen and part of your gear. All right, everyone. Thank you for tuning in with our guest Lisa Borges, author of the book Life in the Fat Lane. Definitely check this book out. It's a great book. And if you don't have the spare change, I'll let you borrow mine. Make sure you give it back. I'm gonna have to go looking for you. Great job. Thank you all for listening. We had some technical difficulties, but I'm gonna do some editing and get that back on Anchor, Spotify, Facebook, and give you a cleaner version of the podcast. And plus, we're going to have an opportunity to have Lisa back on this podcast again. Great guest, great spirit. And I'll be sharing much more of her material on the Really Charlie podcast group. And please join it. Join that group. Bring the numbers up. Join the YouTube channel, Really Charlie. Join that channel. Subscribe to it. That way you'll get all the podcasts on YouTube. So thank you for listening. Thank you for tuning in. And that's our show for tonight. I'll be back on later on in the week. I had a few guests cancel out. Had some things going on. Summer is busy, so have some opportunities to add some new guests to the podcast. So if you want to come on, send me a message so I can make you say, "Really, Charlie?" All right, y'all. Have a good night. God bless. Stay blessed. Be well. Don't let anybody steal your peace. Too many people down and out. Letting people take their peace. Social media can get you, but make it positive. All right, y'all. Take care. Have a good night.